So guys, today we're going to continue the series of videos that I'm doing, talking about what is the next step up for each nation in each tech tree of each line. Or each line of each tech tree, actually, that would be more fitting, right? But still, what is the next step up of the next vehicle in top tier for each of the lines of each of the tech trees that we have, right? We did the US, we did the Germans, the US, the Soviets, the British yesterday, and today we're going to talk about the Japanese. The Japanese, they don't have a lot of options, but there are some interesting aircraft, and remember guys, these are what they are the most probable thing to come after the vehicles, not what I think should be coming, but what are the most probable thing. Okay, so we're gonna see what is the most probable thing, especially in the Japanese tech tree below, of course, in the tech tree of the F-15JM and the F-16AJ, but also talk a little bit about some options, because I have a feeling that they are going to add a subtree at a point there as well. They were going to talk about two vehicles that can be added in these top ranks of that subtree. Okay, so let's get going. First of all, the F-15JM. What is the next step up after that? Well, in my opinion, it needs to be the F-15JSI, or normally called the Japanese Super Interceptor. It would be the most modern F-15J that can actually be added. We technically have already that aircraft, but it actually is getting an upgrade, that aircraft, which will bring an EASA radar to it. So we already have the version that has the helmet mounted display, and it could even in theory fire the AM-5 missile right now. The version that we have in the game right now could already do that. But the JSI brings little upgrades here and there, especially the radar, to actually be able to be the Japanese Super Interceptor, so the most advanced F-15 to ever come to the Japanese tech tree, right? The main idea, as I've said, it is to provide it with a much more modern radar than the APG-63 that we have in the game right now. That would be the APG-82V1, yes, the modernized F-15E's radar, which is pretty cool. And EASA radar, so very, very modern. I couldn't obviously find what is the range of this thing because it's very much classified, but it is the next step up that we will probably see there. So an F-15J that we have in the game right now, but with an EASA radar. Of course, it's supposed to be much better in the air-to-ground capability because of this radar and everything. You can even fire the AGM-158 cruise missile, and it could also carry the AM-4B missile, so the new version of the AM-4 that we have in the game. But this missile would actually have an EASA seeker as well, and 120 kilometers of range, so it would be way better than the AM-4 that we have in the game. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the original F-15JM already can fire this missile, but of course it's been used since like 2010, but of course the EASA radar of the aircraft itself would actually help it as well. So that would be it below the F-15. That's the most probable next aircraft that we will see there. Then below the F-16AJ, I gotta say it guys, of course the Mitsubishi F2, they're normally called Viper Zero. Obviously, it needs to be that aircraft, you know, it should be the F2. I don't think they will add a prototype or anything like that. I have a feeling that they will just straight up jump to the service aircraft. It is a redesign of the F-16, okay? It is made in Japan, uses the same engines as the F-16C, and it has a redesigned wing and empennage to have more area. It was actually used basically used the basis of the F-16 Agile Falcon project to actually do this aircraft, to make these aircraft, right? So it will probably be the best turning F-16 in the game. It has like 25% more wing area, which is amazing. Like yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, it's not just good things about that. You know, it will probably lose a lot more energy while turning than the F-16C just because it has more wing, but it will probably turn way more. Okay, it has the EASA radar as well, so the first in the world to actually use one. Very, very modern. They say it's around 110 kilometers of range, so it will have instantaneous detection, all the things that electronics Canada array radars provide to an aircraft, right? Which is fun because both these aircraft could be EASA, you know, radars users, right? So yeah, Of course, you would use the AM3 missiles that we have in the game, but also the AM5s that we talk about. I mean, this is just basically like an IRIS-T evolution, like of a missile, right? A Python 5, an AIM-9X. It's the next evolution of air-to-air missiles that we still don't have in the game. And also, of course, the AM4s and probably the AM4Bs as well that we talked about with the IASA Seeker, right? Uses a normal air-to-ground loadout that we are accustomed with the F-16. So JDAMs, guided bombs, Mavericks, non-guided stuff too. But it has the addition of the sniper pod, which is a much more modern pod than the older aircraft. And of course, later you could use JDAMs. From initial parameters, you can also use the ASM-1 and 2 anti-ship missiles that could be added if Gaijin wants to add this type of thing. I mean, remember, we still have the Marine figure having anti-ship missiles in the game, although it doesn't have really a place, but it's there. Right, so these are it, guys. For the Japanese aircraft, these are the next step up. Then we go for the Subtrees. Why we are going to talk about Subtrees? Because, I mean, we do have other lines, but guys, we have 3 lines. Two of them actually ends in rank 4, and the other one ends in rank 5. So it's difficult to say what is actually going to come after that as a Japanese aircraft. What I can say is for top tier vehicles, that I think what is going to actually happen is an addition of a subtree, a whole subtree, and at the end of that subtree we have 2 aircraft that are the most likely ones to be at the end of that tech tree, right? So let's talk about that instead of trying to guess a new prop or a new old jet that is maybe never coming for the Japanese, and it's probably very unlikely as a Japanese aircraft, right? So as a subtree, I have a feeling that the Thai Air Force will be the one chosen to be a subtree here. We have 2 aircraft that I think are the most likely ones that are used by them to be like the top dogs when the subtree itself is added, right? What is going to be the last aircraft? And I think, I mean, we can have F5s, we can have many aircraft there, but I think the 2 that have the most like probable chances of being added there is an F-16 Block 15 OCU and a Gripen C. Okay, the F-16 would be using even an MLU package, so it would be very, very similar to the one in the Taiwanese line of the Chinese tech tree. Or maybe rather similar to the F-16 AM that we have in the French tech tree, hopefully added with Fox 3s. So it would be just a normal F-16A with upgrades to use Fox 3s and advanced Fox 2s. That would be probably it, right? And the other aircraft, the Gripen that I was talking about, it would be just a normal Gripen C that we already have in the game. The weapons would be the same, AIM-120s, AIM-9s or something like that, and it wouldn't be too different. But yeah, this is what I think is the most likely thing to happen instead of other Japanese aircraft, because there isn't really other aircraft to be added. Here and there, some prototypes, some trainers, yes, of course, but nothing like crazy that would really help the tech tree to have other options of top tier, right? Or even the mid tiers. So I think the subtree is just a no-brainer, you know, the subtree is the way to go for that tech tree. But yeah, guys, basically this is it. So we have, after the F-15J, the JSI F-15, which is the Super Interceptor, after the F-16AJ, the Mitsubishi F2 Viper Zero, and in the end of the subtree, whenever it comes, the F-16 Block 15 OCU, maybe with an MLU package, and the Gripen C, one of these to actually be added there. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you are excited about the future of the Japanese tech tree. It's a very slim one, but very cool as well. See you guys on the next one. Like I said, subscribe, click the like button. Bye. See ya.